Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo. Ready, set.
Love that. I love you taking the responsibility. I love you eliminating Plan B. Like that's so strong. And I'd be lying if I told you I was a little bit nervous when you told me that you had been offered a job doing what you were already doing, paid more than what you were already making. Just because it would be the easy thing to do. Not that I didn't think you didn't want more, but like, you know, when you're not seeing the results that we've all told you were possible, I mean, you had to that had to be a fairly difficult decision to make. Now, let me ask you this question because this is huge. You're married, you got kids. How long you been married to Crystal?
I'll just be 15 years.
15 years. So you guys probably discuss a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would have told my wife, to be honest with you, that I got a job offering making more than what I was making before when I was trying to get this off the ground, because I'd be afraid she'd be like, well, take that job. And then when you lose your spouse's support, man, it's a big deal. Can you just kind of tell me how you handled that, if you told her, if you didn't tell her? And I mean, I won't let her see this if you tell me you didn't tell her.
No, I did. But you know, I mean, we all know how to phrase things. And so I basically, when I share with her like what was happening, kind of got the call from the recruiter, and I mean, I definitely had the conversation. You know, I'm always going to think. I mean, Frank, I got to tell you, if they said yes, we'll give you, 100,000 share stock option, I'd have been like, deuces.
Right. Right.
But so I didn't think it was going to be that, but I'm like, you should always listen, because worst case scenario, if they're really good, a great recruiter, I might learn some tips on recruiting, who knows? So
Right.
I think it's always a good thing to have a conversation, because at minimum, it solidifies your belief in what you're not going to leave. If that makes any sense. So anyway, so I listened, and basically after I had the conversation, I talked to Chris and I said, look, so this is what it is, and here are the reasons I think that it's not what I need to do. And those reasons really were around it. In its best form, it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be what I've done. It's going to have the ceiling that I've experienced. And for me to get through that ceiling, I'm going to have to do things that I really don't know are ultimately what I want for our life, my family. So for me, it really came down to just telling her, like, look, this isn't what I really want, like, and I think in a way I was wondering if she would say, well, I'm really scared, I'm really nervous, you should, like, that might have happened, but I was looking, it was kind of my, I don't know, backwards way of saying, hey, I need your support. I want you behind me, but I'm being upfront about this thing. So you're in it with me, knowing that we're going into this thing without the plan B. We're getting rid of plan B, because it's really plan B. It's like, it's the Matrix,
Yeah, 100%.
One's real, one's fake, but looks real, but it's not real. It's fake. It just looks real. And that's kind of what it was for us. So I was upfront, but I definitely, I'm sure, framed it in a very, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Don't make me go back to corporate. And she was very supportive. But she also told me, so this is important for, I think, people to kind of understand. She also told me, like, for the first few months, she was like really worried. She did not tell me that during those few months. She told me once I made the switch and my mindset changed, I started sounding, she said, like the old me.
Yeah.
Not the me from the past 4 or 5 years, like the me from, like, when we were dating and first working, and when I was really moving up the corporate ladder and having excitement with growth, not the like stagnant phase. She's like, you're like your old self, not your 6 months ago self, but old self, which was like, whoa, I hadn't even realized I got into this complacency ickiness.
Yeah.
And so that excited me, because she's like, once I heard that shift, then I was like, okay, we're going to be okay.
We're
But
good.
she was sure for these first couple months, but she was supportive, which is good.
And
Which is great.
that's
Yeah.
so important, because that could have changed everything, like just like that, and spouses don't realize that a lot. And I don't think agents talk to their spouses enough, and really let them know that I need your support. I need you behind me, because I'm already battling a mental game as it is, and it's the toughest
Mhm.
mental game most people will ever deal with. I mean, barring like kids being sick, stuff like that. But it's really important to have, and I'm glad she did. I mean, I'm ecstatic that she had your back. I can't, because I believe, and we're not there yet, but I believe your life and your families and your kids' lives are going to be changed forever. And it could have easily went the other way. So, dude, I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you. Um, if you could give one piece of advice to anybody that's either brand new, or I just had a call with an agent on Sunday, and they were like, I've been doing this for 2 or 3 years and I just can't get over that hump. What would you say to them?
I'd say it comes down to um I'd say it comes down I don't want to, overuse the word mindset, but it really does come down to your mindset, and that you've got to get right with yourself and make the decision. Are you going to be the you that you want, that you see in yourself? Are you going to be that person? And what is that going to take? So the mindset of, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to make this work. I'm not going to fall back on plan B. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And there was I just heard this recently, and I don't know if it was from our training last night, which is important to be on the training every single week. But I heard this recently, and it was success is if you when you pass and you're up in heaven, and God says, well, here's the you I made, and here's the potential that you could have been, all you could have been. This is what you could have been in life, and here's you. Are you twins, or are you miles apart? Did you reach your potential, or did you play back here, and this is what you could have been? Because everybody's thinking everybody else has got it easier, something's better, pointing to that
Right.
person. But in reality, we all have our potential. And the mindset, I think, shift when I said, what's the one thing? It's mindset. The mindset is, are you willing to do whatever it takes to reach your potential? And if you are, then do it. And so, what are those pieces? Make your plan. What are the things you need to change? Is it getting up early? Is it being more plugged in? Is it really that you don't know what it takes? Okay, so make a list of what it takes. Well, I'm not sure. Make a list of ways to find out what it takes. And how about you do one of those things today? Well, I'm
Right.
not sure how to do that. Make a list of people you can call to go find out what the hell you should do. Whatever it is, do something. Make it the list, check it twice, go do something. Because if you're not in action, you are falling behind. You have to be in action. Thinking will not get you there, because God knows we got plenty of time to think, and that hasn't helped anybody.
That's
So
right.
get into action. Make the mindset, I'm going to do it, whatever that is, and then go do it. So if you've been doing this 2 years and you're not seeing success, first of all, know there's a person who is very going to be able to describe all the reasons why that is. And the cool thing is, you're with them all the time. You can just go right to the mirror and ask them what the heck's going on, because that's what's the problem. And then figure out your solution, because we all have the answers. This is not that complex.
Mm-mm.
So make the decision, have the mindset that this is 100% me. I'm going to figure this out. So if you've been here 2 years and you really are confused about what the problem is, then go talk to someone. Go ask someone. They'll help you figure it out. But then you got to be willing to go do things on that list.
That's right.
Because sometimes we come up with problems, we're not willing to make the change.
Can I
So
ask this?
yeah, go ahead.
So I'm 100% agreements with mindset. But when you said you got offered a position and you said it would take me here, and I've hit that ceiling before. Does your why, why you're doing this as opposed to going back to what you were doing, have an impact on turning that job down, really focusing on your mindset and figuring out what you were not doing right? Well, like how big was your why in that? Because I don't know. And when we talk about whys, people tend to go like, that's so corny. Call it whatever you want. Like there's a reason you turned down that position, because it's obviously not about just money, because you were getting offered a lot of money. And I know, because you told me how much. Most people would do cartwheels to get an offer like that.
Yeah.
It had to be bigger than just that. So, I mean, can you touch on that just a time? And listen, these are not supposed to be this long, but this is such good information. People need to listen.
Trim out the dead space. So for me, my why, I had to make it about something that wasn't just money related and was more about potential relation. And so for me, I've known or felt like I don't want to say destined, because I think we all have this, you make your own destiny. I knew I wanted more. And I hadn't quite defined what more was, but what I was, and I'm going to show the office, which this is horrible. I'm going to take this. So I have on my wall, unstoppable. And yes, that is a unicorn. That's another story. And then over there, I have a vision board. And so what I basically was finding with my why is that I did not feel unstoppable. I felt stopped, and I was stopping myself, and I felt like I was not in a place where I ever felt unstoppable. I felt trapped.
Yeah.
And I knew that this business, this opportunity, this industry would allow me to reach whatever dreams and goals I have within a certain, paradigm. Like, am I going to be Elon Musk, a trillionaire? That might be a little challenging to sell insurance to be a trillionaire. But you know what? I know I'm in a direction to do whatever I want. I can have whatever I want, be whatever I want in this industry. And so I know that for me to feel unstoppable, I have to believe I can actually achieve and accomplish. And I wasn't feeling that before. I was feeling trapped. I was feeling like there was a ceiling. I was feeling, that someone else was in control. I wanted to be in control. So if I'm going to be in control, I have to have my own business. And if I'm going to have my own business, what's it going to be? Am I going to open up a food cart? No. Am I going to open a retail? No. Am I going to become a lawyer? No. I'm going to doc? No. So what am I going to do that I'm excited about, that I can help people and feel unstoppable? What am I going to do that I'm going to be able to accomplish the things on the vision board that I have? And it's the same vision board I've had for years. Now, this one's a little different, but it's the same shit. It's the same stuff. So, time with family, okay? Be able to invest in a real estate portfolio over time. Go on vacation, take my mother to Italy. I mean, it's the same stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And so to be able to do that and to feel unstoppable, I have to have my own business. What is it going to be? It's not going to be working for someone for anything, because then they can stop me. So how do I be unstoppable in my life? And for me, that was my why. I want to feel unstoppable. I want to be unstoppable. And I need a vehicle to do that. Because if you don't have the right vehicle, you just can't win the race. You can be a great race car driver. If you're in a Honda Accord, you're never going to beat the Lamborghini. I don't care how good a driver you are. Now, if you can be a great driver and roll up in a Lamborghini, well, now we're racing.
Now we're going. That's right. Dude, I love that. And identifying what your why is makes decisions like that so much easier. And that's what people don't understand. And so I'd encourage you, if you haven't read the book, I think it's Simon Sinek wrote Start With Why. It's a great book to read. And it really does make days like you had early on, decisions like you had early on, and even just 7-8 months ago, it makes it a lot easier for you to go, nope, I'm sticking with this, and I know why, and then you switch things. So Jesse, thank you so much for sharing with us today. This is fantastic. I wish we could do these in person, and we'll start doing that more often. here once you once you get everything more on autopilot. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, buddy. I'm proud of you. I love you, and I'm excited to see where you and your family are going.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Until next time, make it a big week. Take care.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo. Ready, set,